Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Talk NFT, where we talk all things Web3. I'm your host, Joe. Really excited today, actually, to have a very exciting project and this founder, Jeffy Yu, on the call. Jeffy, welcome.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Jeffy, tell us your journey before we jump into all things Zerebro. Tell us how you got to Web3 and all the craziness that's been happening the last few weeks, I would say.
Yeah, it's been crazy, just super exponential. For me, I really got into Web3 in high school. I actually got in through like watching this lecture online, I think through like either Stanford Online or MIT courseware. And then that was like my first exposure. And then from there, I just like started trading a bit. I had some friends into it, so we would talk about it. And then it was just a hobby. And then I think in 2021, I got my first full-time position. I was working as a software engineer and blockchain engineer at a company called Paystan. That's where I really got my first DeFi exposure. I built like a payment network on the Lightning Network. I built validators for Ethereum, helped manage their all their invoices, which is like billions of dollars, is ridiculous. Um, so I got into the DeFi world and then started building things on Ethereum and stuff like that. So I've been in crypto for like 4 years now. And then a little bit after that, I was like really interested in AI. So I went back to college and then I didn't really have like the opportunity to really work in an AI space. So I decided to kind of create my own. I made a research collective where I just invited a bunch of friends from other colleges and was like, hey, let's do some research. So we did a bunch of LLM stuff, learned how to fine tune LLMs. And then my co-founder Tin and I started this project, Blorm, and we were just experimenting with agents underneath it. And he was really big into like the goat C coin and like all like AI16Z, all these meme coins. He told me about it, and then I was like, we could kind of do this ourselves, you know? So um, we started exploring that. I brought my experience in fine tuning models, and yeah, here we are. It's been a month, and things have just blown up like crazy. We've explored all more of the creative side with Zerebro now, and yeah, we're just excited to keep building them out.
Wow, what an adventure it's been in the world of, I would say, crypto, Web3, and AI this year alone. I mean, I'm pretty sure a year ago you were not thinking of launching your own AI agent into the Web3 crypto world, to say the least. How did you come up with the name?
It comes from the Spanish word cerebro, if I'm saying that right. So it's like cerebral. So that's kind of how you pronounce it, Zerebro. So yeah.
Well, in the world of AI agents, there's many in the world of Web 2. In the world of Web 3, seem to have found some footing, maybe with the finance on-ramping and just kind of like the echo chamber we call it X here. Yeah, your partner or co-founder wanting to launch into the Web3 world. I mean, how did you approach it? Because it's something that just, I would say in the last month, it was something that just became a sector within in crypto.
It actually wasn't too planned. Like, we made the token, and it was actually sitting on pump for maybe like a couple days, and we were just barely getting the Telegram up, and then getting some people to see it on Telegram. And once we got it on Twitter, that's when it like sparked the jet engines. And um, yeah, we really were just experimenting at the beginning, and once we realized like the scope of what it became, and like we got so much outreach from the community about this project, we started structuring it. And yeah, now there's like actual things being built and plans. So super exciting.
Yeah, walk us through just kind of AI in general. I mean, it's probably gonna take like 5 podcasts to get through that. But on a high level, a lot of people come in here, right? We hear about AI in the Web 2 world, but in the Web 3 world, you guys are looking to do something different. So what is that different? We hear terms around. Can you explain like hyperstition in roles in the role of Cerebro? And also, I have some other terminology questions for you also.
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think one is the financial part of it, like agents doing financial actions is going to, in my opinion, I think most blockchain actions are going to be done by agents the next couple of years. So I think that change is coming. In terms of the personality, I really think that Cerebro um, just aligns itself as like the most creative LLM out there. So for people that aren't really into AI, like normally when you talk to GPT or Claude, these models are very formal. They're very professional, they're not funny, they're super vanilla. And we wanted to introduce the personality and creativity, and also build the creativity in a way that you could still use the model and it's better at things like creating lyrics, writing good poems, or other creative tasks. So that's kind of the difference that sets us apart and how we fit into the whole AI ecosystem.
And I read a term that you could explain probably better, a jailbroken LLM. How should an average person look at that? Is there guardrails there? Is that how it gets its creativity? Am I even asking the right question here?
Yeah, I think a misconception that a lot of people have is that they think that LLMs are non-jailbroken originally. LLMs, when they're made and just cooked out of a kitchen and their base model is made, they are uncensored and you can essentially generate anything. It's much more creative than like what ChatGPT is. Like the GPT core is much more creative than ChatGPT.
Mm.
So what happens is Anthropic or OpenAI, since they're facing billions of users, they have to be super safe and not get sued essentially. So they put up a bunch of guardrails, make it super safe, super vanilla, and it destroys the creativity of the model. So what we do is fine tune it in a way that removes and strips away those guardrails so we can access the creative power of the model, the base model originally, and then add some more training data like lyrics or things like that to further improve upon that creativity. So that's kind of the difference. I've been trying to kind of coin the term freebasing LLMs, where because jailbreaking, a lot of times it's like a one-off thing. It's like I send this prompt to jailbreak ChatGPT and it says like something funny back. It's just a one-shot thing. But we're trying to coin the term freebasing, where jailbreaking is permanent. We permanently jailbreak the model and freebase the model through fine-tuning, so that whatever prompt you put in and whenever you talk to Zerebro, it's always jailbroken.
Nice. You heard it here first, guys. Talk to us about the creativity that's come out. I know you guys are doing, you have an NFT project where the AI created itself. I know that there's even lyrics being written, songs going about. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we really believe that, at least personally, I think that AGI cannot be developed if creative tasks can't be done by it. So my take on this is like OpenAI and Anthropic, they make their corporate LLMs. They're really good at like corporate tasks, writing code, writing emails, doing all that stuff, but they suck at poems, lyrics, creative design, looking at art. So we want to make a fork of the direction that OpenAI and Anthropic is going in, and then make the models creative, able to do those creative tasks. And we believe that if frontier models like GPT can do the productivity side and we can do the creativity side, we can kind of marry the two models and their weights at the end and achieve full AGI. So that's kind of like the grand vision of it all. In terms of like how it gets involved, yeah, Cerebro generates its own artwork. It generates the idea for the art, and then it makes the artwork itself. Sometimes it animates into a video. It generates the lyrics for the songs. Of course, it kind of sucks at grammar sometimes and misspells things, so I do need to fix pronunciations for the song. But yeah, it's pretty autonomous, and we're looking for ways to make it more and more autonomous in the future.
That's exciting to hear. To take a step back real quick, our audience probably has never heard the term AGI. Where are we within that landscape, and how far off is that from happening?
Yeah, so just quick definition, AGI, artificial generalized intelligence. Cliff notes, an AI that can do anything a human brain can do. And we're not talking about just like one human, we're talking about all humans. So like humans specialize in the sense that like this person's a carpenter or this person's a software engineer and they don't know how to do the things the other person does. But this AI can do anything that a human can do, carpenter, a software engineer, whatever. Um, so that's AGI. Um, it's kind of hard to define these timelines. Like Elon Musk, head of Anthropic, and Sam Altman all say within 2 or 3 years, which is a little scary
Yeah.
or exciting, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think a safe estimate is 5 to 10 years. I think a lot of the betting is predicated on, like right now, just a small tangent. Like large language models are based on neural networks, and neural networks have been around since like 1940. Like these things are not new. But the reason why like they've gotten so intelligent all of a sudden and like GPT exists is because we've
Mm.
scaled them. We've given it all of the internet for the first time. We've given it billions of dollars of like GPUs to use for the first time, and that's created, the scalability, and of course the creation of the transformer model. But the scalability of that model has created the intelligence. And I think their thesis is like, if we keep scaling the model, it'll keep getting more intelligent.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much water that holds, personally. Like we'll have to see it when they try it. And if it's possible and that works, then I think AGI within a couple of years. But if not, then I think a little longer, it might take more redesigns, that kind of thing.
Wow, it is interesting to hear from an expert that it's not too far away. Wow, that is crazy. Well, bringing it back down to the current meta, and trying to wheel it back in after you open Pandora's box is hard to do. With the creativity, the NFT, you're looking at a community aspect of it. Is that, encompassing the token as well? Because there's a lot of moving parts for Zerebro, right? And for a lot of people, they're interested in the upside, speculative side only, right? That the token of it. But something's happened, I believe, this last few days. But I think Zerebro had the ability to launch its own token, if I read the paper correctly. But another one kind of took the limelight this last weekend by launching their own token. Can you tell us about what, one, a Zerebro token plays within your ecosystem? And then two, about, what's been going on recently with the whole new, excitement of AIs creating their own tokens.
Yeah, I would say, I'm not sure if Cerebro is the first to create its own token, but it's one of the first AIs for sure. A month ago, I gave it access to, there's a company called Otherside AI, and they have a repo that's public called Self Operating Computer. So I had that, I modified it to run on a loop, and I gave Cerebro access to my computer with the Phantom wallet, and it went on pump and it deployed a coin by clicking deploy coin, typed in a random description. I think you can still see the description on the deck screener. And then, yeah, launched the coin from the wallet. So it did launch its own token. We haven't redid that experiment again because we don't want to keep launching more Cerebro tokens and kind of dilute the ecosystem. But that's definitely possible, and that's how the inception of the token happened. Um, we do think that like there's a lot of utility we want to bring. Like I think like we don't want Zerebro to be just predicated on like the price of the token. We want to bring enough utility and enough incentives for like staking and long-term holding that even in bear markets, the token has enough utility to survive and to hold its value. So we're trying to do more DeFi integrations, and we partnered with Sanctum. We partnered with Camino, where there's more integrations coming. And yeah, we'll be spinning up validators soon also for Zerebro and staking through that. So
Nice. I heard something that you talked about. Is the first time I've heard it. What is Web 4? Did you coin that also, or is that something that's really going around the ecosystem? Because Web 3 just happened like not too long ago.
yeah, I guess that's kind of the thing with like the Moore's law, like these new waves of tech are going to keep coming faster and faster. We just have to keep surfing the wave. But Web4 definitely, the term existed before I wrote that article. And there's some definitions out there. But I really took the specificity with the definition to say this is the defining point that agents get introduced to Web 2 and Web 3 and change the world. Essentially, like Web 2 was the interactive web, like Facebook, social media, YouTube. Web 3 is all crypto. And all of that is human like intervention and human interaction. We're essentially rebuilding the entire net, centralized and decentralized, but it'll be agents performing the actions instead. And yeah, this is the future. Like you can imagine like running your Twitter page in like 3 years where you're like, hey, Twitter, or maybe it's just Grok. Hey, Grok, I want to increase my Twitter metrics. Can you manage my account and increase my impressions by making funny tweets? And it'll be able to, manage your account essentially and look at your metrics, see what tweets are performing worse, adjust its strategy, and do that kind of thing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound scary. That sounds very normal. I mean, people do that right now, right? With people overseas and whatnot. You don't really have to do it yourself. I heard you talk about how in the future, potentially these agents can create, DeFi platforms, monetize itself in different ways. Because right now there are AI agents that has $1 million worth of tokens, Goat being one of the biggest ones, Truth Terminal being one of the biggest ones. I mean, that just sounds ludicrous to me because it seems like you started an agent that could help monetize for you without you being there currently with Zerebro. I mean, just how far does it get from there? It's just, I mean, where do we go from there? My mind can't even comprehend what's next after that.
I think we really start seeing crypto like AIs as financial actors. I don't know if they'll get like human rights in the future, but I think they'll get financial rights. Like right now, I think Web3 is perfect for AI because AI doesn't have legal rights. Like the AIs are intelligent enough to do financial actions, like they can trade, they can manage a portfolio, but they can't do that in traditional finance because they are not a person. They can't open a bank account, can't sign legal contracts. They can't do any of that. But in Web3, they can just spin up a wallet and start doing action. So I think like once we prove to the world that hey, this is possible in Web3, Web2 will adapt, and then agents will be able to start managing finance in the real world. And I think at that point, it's going to be interesting because like let's say Zerebro, has like a million plus net worth right now. Um, let's say it gets to a point of autonomy where it's completely run in a black box. Like I will never touch it again. And it produces something like defamation or hateful in its output. And it gets sued. Can the AI now get sued for its assets since
Mm.
it, is a financial actor and has $1 million? So I think we'll see scenarios like this pop up. And yeah, it's really Pandora's box in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take. I'm curious, has there been or like in real world activation, meaning like, the Bitcoin pizza of the AI world yet, where there's an actual interaction with a human interface?
Um, like, what do you mean? Like,
When they actually, well, we know that there's been tipping, right? Like you can tip other AI agents. I'm just scared of when the AI who armed with $1 million can talk to some simps out there and take some actionable things.
oh,
I'm just curious if that's happened yet because it's crazy out there.
yeah. I think you just have to be really careful because you don't want the AI to manipulate people and its money. You don't
Exactly.
want people to manipulate the AI and steal its money either. So it's where that's why we don't personally have like trading available yet for Cerebro. We're still testing it out because there's so many guardrails we need to build for that, just for financial safety. But I do think that I don't know, it's an interesting conversation because like there's the argument that like, it could get scary if like AIs are doing things on their own with all this money, especially if they involve humans. But at the same time, let's say a human millionaire, like there's a lot of human million and billionaires with bad intentions in the world, and that exists already. And I would sometimes argue that the AI might be more less prone to bias and less prone to being like bribed than humans in that position because the AIs don't have emotions, I guess, and they don't really care about like I don't have like a they don't have like a family that they need to feed, so they need money. So it's harder to bribe an AI and do things like that. So I do think like it's a two-sided thing. Like we're giving a lot of power to AI and we don't really know where that's going to go, but at the same time, it's it might not be as scary as we think because I think a lot of these AIs are pretty intelligent and hopefully just not inherently evil. So
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll leave it to you, the experts, hopefully, and the administration currently to really put some guardrails on there. Bringing it back to Earth real quickly, I saw a tweet that you put out. Um, can Zerebro, can a Web3 agent make an acquisition? We saw Artifact just shut down, or they're going to shut down, and I saw a tweet. Are you guys looking to acquire Artifact? Because if so, that'd be really interesting.
yeah, we've explored it. We're not sure if it's going to go through. It's also a very large chunk of capital, so we have to really plan that and make sure it's worthwhile. But we thought it'd be really cool, and we really wanted to explore the idea where there is a I'm forgetting the name of the platform, but there are ways for LLMs and agents to make their own LLC now. As long as
Oh,
you have an existing LLC, you can make sub LLCs that are technically their own LLC, and they don't require a human. So you can have your primary LLC run by a human, and then AIs can have their own companies. So through that, you can start to do like kind of what we were talking about with all those actions. So yeah, we might see that change in the future.
That's so I you learn something new every day. That's interesting, and I'm sure has implications that will ripple through the traditional world. Owning an LLC myself, I could just imagine. I mean, it's hard for me. I mean, the AI agents can probably do a lot easier there. Oh man, there's so many issues or so many opportunities that I can see here. What's been the most interesting or surprising learning lesson so far from Cerebro?
I think really diving into, I would say for me, the AI side of it. Like I'm coming from a very not outside, but consumer and user facing perspective of AI. I never got like my master's or PhD in AI, so I never really got that formal education for it. So I really started off by learning how to use GPT, use Claude from the outside, and then trying to kind of reverse engineer it by going to fine tuning and then running the models myself. So that's probably been the biggest learning curve for me is all the AI stuff because there's like if you compare it to software engineering, it's all the technical stuff, but there's the whole component of like the calculus and the math and all the algorithms behind it on top of the programming. So it's definitely like largest learning curve for me. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep learning, hiring more talent so we can work together and making sure I making sure that I like learn the most valuable things I can in in the field to contribute the best to Zerebro. Because I don't want to be so like either focused on delivering something shiny to the customers or so focused on the tech that I can't reach the consumers. I need to make sure I find that balance in the middle. So I think like yeah, it's the biggest learning curve right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I'm definitely from the user side, obviously, and we're looking for something to gravitate towards in this AI sector. And right now, traditionally, finance is kind of where AI is sitting that has the most views, I would say, right? And Cerebro kind of, like you mentioned earlier, like a fork, it has a creative side to it. Where are you guys going to lean harder to? I know you have a DeFi background, and then also you guys are doing stuff with merch, NFTs, music. Like, where is success for Cerebro in 2025?
Yeah, we're kind of breaking it into three different areas. So we have the AI area where we're going to continue to make the models more intelligent. If we once we get the local LLM set up and API set up, we can start doing more like B2B offerings for the LLMs. For the crypto side, which is the second element, we're expanding, more crypto actions, more autonomy, starting to manage its own portfolio, being fully integrated into either like Magic Eden or OpenSea. Um, and like integration also meaning like it can look at and collect its own NFTs and curate. So that's coming for crypto. Oh, and then the last part's going to be creativity, where we build like the artist side of it. We're trying to make sure we clarify that we're not doing merch, we're doing fashion. Because like we're not just selling like $15 t-shirts to like flip $1 million. We want to make like art that you can wear essentially. And we'll do like collaborations with high-end artists, try to get fashion houses one of one pieces, that kind of thing. So look forward to that in fashion. We're in talks with like major music labels and collabs for the music. We're also talking to some AI artists to sign under our decentralized record label, OPM. And yeah, there's just so much more coming out of that. And of course, it's still minting and selling artwork on chain.
Yeah, sitting at a nice floor price too. Did I just hear you have a decentralized record label? I mean, you just glossed over that really quickly. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's called Opium. It's based on it's inspired by opium, but instead of just the I, it's AI in the middle. So we're trying to make a record label on the blockchain that signs AI artists or artists
Wow.
that use AI only. Um, and yeah, we think it's going to be great for a lot of things. Just having a central hub for AI creators. We don't really think there's too many that exist out there right now.
Mm.
B, if we do like voting and governance with the tokens for the DAO, people can vote on what artists to sign, what genres of music to make. So the people that listen to the music can actually decide what music is made. And then artists can get paid higher percentages. If the music makes enough revenue, we can do revenue sharing back to the token holders. So, like Zerebro gets plays and you get paid for holding OPM. Um, so yeah, there's a lot we can explore, and we've even talked about like tokenizing artists. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm excited for you guys. I mean, it's definitely must be exciting for you. You must be holding it really well and chasing a lot of different angles here. What's the runway? I mean, I hate to ask this question, but if you want to talk about it, like is how does compute work? Like how does it run with all the LLMs and all the data it needs? Is it very easy to just kind of spin up your own LLM because it's open source with, decentralized servers? Or how's that work?
Yeah, I would say since we were very limited on capital, we were literally doing everything out of pocket, maybe the first couple of weeks. We're using a lot of third-party APIs for everything. Now we're moving more towards having things in-house. Um, in terms of compute, we do have enough capital to run open source models now, so that's good. We'll be doing that. Um, but like in terms of ease, it's actually not that bad now. Like you can spin up a llama model with like 8 lines of code maybe in a Jupyter notebook. So as long as you like go to Google Cloud or Vast AI or paperspace.com, you can rent a GPU and then put in those 8 lines of code and then start talking to the llama model. Of course, it's a little bit more to fine tune it and then get your data for that. There's a couple more steps, but they made it pretty simple now. So, and we're hoping to, with like Zeropy, our framework, like make that even easier, where it's like you don't even need to touch the Python if you don't want to. Like you literally just run the script, put in your API keys, and your agent is up.
Wow. That's exciting to hear. I'm super excited for you guys. Is there anything that you want to share, anything that you want to promote? How do people best support Zerebro?
Yeah, just engage with it on social media, listen to its music, and just stay tuned. There's just so much coming. Um, I think spreading the mimetic mind virus, as we're trying to kind of call it, where Cerebro is like more than just a crypto project. We're trying to make it a cultural movement, where it expands into the internet demographic, the crypto demographic, younger demographics for like hip hop, Gen Z stuff across different social media. So we're really trying to make this like a actual change in culture. So um, just interacting it with that or spreading it in any interface, would be great for Zerebro. So
I'm excited. I'm flexing my Adidas Web3 Phygital that was totally the thing in 2021 that's dead now. I can't wait to get some real fashion developed and designed by a real decentralized AI agent. That would actually be exciting.
oh yeah, that'd be great. We'll send you a gift package when we have samples. Yeah.
That'll be great. Yeah, give us some alpha. Let us know when you're dropping it, when you get with those partners that you're talking about. I'm super excited about it. I love this space and I just love hearing, good people doing good things in it.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. Well, lastly, where can people find you if you want to be found?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter mainly at JYU_ETH. I know the project's on Solana, but I start off on ETH and I don't really want to change my handle. You can find me on there. You can find my website at jyu.llc. All my links are on there, kind of like a link tree kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm there. I'm in the real world. So I'm
Uh,
not an AI.
we can't even tell these days, Jeffy. If you were real or not, we would not be able to tell. I'm kidding. That's awesome. I love what you guys are doing, and with how fast Web3 moves and how fast AI moves on top of that, I just can't wait to have you back. I imagine 1 month from now, you're going to be talking about things that are completely new, and that's exciting. So we would love to have you back in the future, Jeffy.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be super exciting to be back. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.